Hello, and welcome to Christmas Cheer Central by Nicole B. Stampin'. Today I'm going to demonstrate for you this adorable box of tags or make your own tags. And what I got here, I have the lid and as you can see around a box, and I'm going to take the lid off here real quick so there's no reflection. I can show you I've got some tag pieces and some ribbon and bling and some baker's twine in here, and this makes a great gift to somebody to be able to assemble their own tags any way they want for packages. So it makes a little great gift. I like to give a Thanksgiving Day gift to like my mother. And this way she can use these to make her own gift tags this year. So I'm going to show you how I did this. I'm going to set this aside. First, just a quick on the tags. So the tags, all the tags I did, I used these two die sets. And so these are part of the suite, the Traditions of Christmas suite. We've got the traditional labels, and I think this was Christmas greenery. I forgot what it's called. Christmas greenery. So Christmas labels and Christmas greenery dies. That I used. The fun part is if you use the Traditions of Christmas designer paper, I have a piece cut out here. These Christmas traditions, or Christmas greenery will line right up, if I get it going the right direction, with the designs right on the designer paper here. So let me bring it a little closer to you. See, so they line right up and you can cut them out on the design. They also have like these 3 flowers, and this one will line up as well, and it lines right up with it, and you could die cut right out of the paper here. So what I did is I used some of these pieces here. I used some old olive. I had some leaves. Here's those pieces I die cut out of paper. Here's some branch leaves, as you can see. I did it in some gold. I really was just kind of using the paper I had around. Here's the 3 flowers. I did it out of red and blue, or actually this is cherry cobbler and secret sea. Some more of those flowers out of the dies. So I had those fun pieces out of this, and then out of this guy, out of our tradition, our Christmas label. What is it? I'm saying it wrong. Traditional labels. Sorry. I had some fun, again, with those same colors, some cherry cobbler, secret sea, whisper white. I did some of the banners here, some ovals. There's that old olive. There's those banners and ovals. This is real red versus cherry cobbler. I even did a couple of those right out of the designer paper. They could be either side, which is fun. And then, of course, I did some small ones, too. So, again, right out of that designer paper, I did a couple here. I think I have, there we go. Some cherry cobbler again. And basically, I chose these colors because when you look at the pack of paper, the Traditions of Christmas paper, these are all coordinating colors. So I had fun, and I just pulled some scrap cardstock and made just piles of labels. You can see I just did all sorts of them, of all these different designs, right? And I even took the traditional sparkling sequins and I cut off a section to include, and then I did an entire spool of the red and white baker's twine, and I even took a section of the real red ribbon and folded it up and included it in my little box here. So that's the inside. And I just had a lot of fun just die cutting out a whole bunch of pieces is what I did to include in the box. But what I really want to focus today on here is how to make the box itself, because it's a little complicated, but not too bad. And so I thought I would walk through here once I pick up all of my mess of labels. I was going to walk through it with you so you can see step by step how I assembled this box. Okay. So the first thing I did is I started with a piece of, this is the basic white thick cardstock. So all the white you're going to see here is all out of the thick because I wanted it to have a lot of weight to it, a lot of strength. Okay. So you can see here, my box base is 7 inches by 8.5 inches. And what I'm going to start with is I'm going to score at 1 inch on all sides. So I'm going to bring in my my cutting tool here, and let me zoom back a little bit here so you can see. Sorry for you're going to see my mess. I'm going to push this blade out of the way because I just want to use my scorer. Okay, and I'm going to do a 1 inch. And what I love about this is I have a little bit on this other side, so it gives me plenty to hold on to. So I'm going to do 1 inch, and I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do 1 inch. I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. And I'm putting a lot of pressure here to make sure I get a really good score on it. And 1 inch. Oops, my table's shaking the camera. Sorry about that. All right. All right, so I have it scored now. You can kind of see it there. All right. What I want to do now is I want to frame out the box base on the inside of my score marks here. So what I'm going to do, and I have this here beside this, and I'm going to talk through this, but I have this little template. Here it is. Okay, that tells me what each of these 4 boxes, what that dimension is. And this is on my blog post, so you can check it out there. So I've got my ruler and a pencil. All right. And it's okay. We're going to hide all this, so you don't have to worry about the pencil marks, but I'm going to put my mark right on the score line, and it is 2 3/4 wide. So I just want 2 marks here so that I know that I'm drawing a straight line. Right, 2 3/4. All right, and I'm going to draw my main divider here first. Line up on my dots. And I'm going from score line to score line. So don't draw outside of your score lines. All on the inside. So there's my main divider box. Okay, so my upper box is 2.5. Whoops, let's go this way. My bad. Let's see. 2.5. Draw my little marks here. 2.5. All right, so I'm going to draw this line. Okay, and that makes this one 4. And then on my bottom one here is 2 1/4, or no, I'm sorry, 2 inches. It's 2 1/4 wide. 2 and 2, and I'm going to draw this line. All right. There we go. So I have them drawn out. Now I want to label them. So this is because I don't want to forget which direction is which. What? B, C, D. Now remember, don't worry about your handwriting or anything. We're going to hide all that. So there it is, right? So I've got it drawn out on my paper, and that is my boxes here. And it actually goes this way. So that's my 4. Sorry, I bent. This has gone through a little bit of a beating. But so there you can see my 4 boxes. Okay. So that's important to start with. So this gives us our layout and gives us our frame. Now we need to free our tabs. Okay. So you have a 1 inch square in the corner of each of these here. So I'm going to snip just one side of each of those 1 inch squares to create a tab. Do this one. And this one. Okay. So now you see I have these tabs. Okay. There's one more piece that you want to do on the opposite side of your cut, whichever way you cut. I'm just going to cut off a little bit of an angle and Doesn't have to be perfect. And what I'm doing here is when you fold them in, you don't want the tab to stick up higher than your wall. And this just makes sure that corner is hidden. All right. So I just cut off just an angle on each of my tabs. So see how that is? Okay. Get rid of my scrap here. All right. So now I'm going to fold on my score lines all the way around here. All right, so this is going to come together with your tabs being on the inside. And it's going to come together like a box, okay? So I'm going to use tear and tape. You've probably, if you've seen any of my other videos, a lot of times it's like your choice. Do you want to use glue or tear and tape? And that is completely up to you. I'm using tear and tape because I want it to hold immediately. And not have to sit and wait for the glue to dry. But the downfall of the tear and tape, so yes, the positive is it's quick. The downfall is it's permanent instantly. So you don't have any repositioning that you can do. So that's really your call if you want to use glue or tear and tape. But what I did is I have it on the outside of each of my tabs. And I'm going to assemble my walls. So what I'm doing here is making sure that I line up the corner and then pressing the tab in. And you can see I did that little snip to make sure it isn't sticking out over top of the edge. Now, and see the downfall is I missed my edge just a little bit and I can't readjust that. And that's the benefit of the glue. I would have been able to fix that. I need to be better about that or my lid is not going to fit. Sorry, passing through of a cat. That is how this household works. Nothing is sacred. Hi, bud. That is Berlioz. He likes to help. And he only shows up when I'm talking because he knows he will be in the middle of something. So here's my third tab and my fourth and final tab. Oops, stuck to my finger. All right, here we go. Make sure mine lined up and there. All right, so there's my main box. Got that all in order here. All right. So now the next step is to put in the inside walls. Okay, so we have a long divider, and your long divider is going to be at 6.5 by 3, and we're going to score that. And I'll talk about that in a second. The right divider is at 2.25 by 3, and the left divider is 2.75 by 3. So you notice the 3 is the height. They're all the same height. And we need to score these to create our walls. So I'm going to bring my score back in here. All right, my long divide, all of these are going to be divided. So the 3-inch is going this way, and they're all going to be scored at the same exact dimensions. So I'm going to score here at the 1/2 inch. Let me move that. 1/2 inch mark at the, oh, I'm going to turn it around here. So 1/2 inch, sorry about that. 1/2 inch, 1.5 is my next. And 2.5 is my last. And I bumped the thing when I'm doing the scoring. I'm shaking the table a lot. I apologize for the movement. All right, so I've got the scores. I'm doing the same thing here. So my left divider, the 3-inch goes on this direction, and I'm doing the same scores. So 1/2 inch, 1.5, and 2.5. All right, that's my left. I'm putting my left, I'm marking my left. I don't want to forget which one's my left and which one's my right because I don't want to mix them up. So this is the 3-inch again. So once again, 1.5, 1.5, and 2.5. All right, I'm going to put that Post-it back on here, the right divider, because I don't want to mix them up. Get that out of the way. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to fold on these lines. Now we're going to fold it in half. That's that middle score. The two outer edges that are at the 1/2 inch, I'm actually going to fold the opposite direction here so that it looks like this. Okay, I'm going to do that with all of them. So this is my right. Fold it in. So I got the little pyramid, and this is my left. Put them on the left side and the right side so I don't mix them up. Okay, there we go. So I've got my 3 walls. Okay, so now, again, tear and tape versus glue, your decision. But I'm going to go ahead on each of these pieces, and I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape along the 1/2 inch here, along one side of the middle piece, and then the outer piece. And I will bring that in a little closer to show you. So see, I have 3 pieces of tear and tape here. If you're doing glue, you wouldn't put that on in advance. You'll do it as you go, and you'll see how that is, because you obviously don't want the glue everywhere. And I'll talk you through that here as we assemble where you would be adding your glue. But I'm adding all my tear and tape up front. So it's all on there. One last piece. All right, there we go. Okay, so if you're doing glue, the first part you can do like this is you're going to put glue in the middle here, and I'm just removing my piece, and I'm going to stick that piece together, okay, so that we have the flaps out, but that middle piece is now adhered to create my wall. Okay, I'm going to do that with each of these. So this part, if you're using your glue, that's where you would start, is the glue in the middle. But I'm just using tear and tape, and this is less precise, no need for movement, so it is definitely a good way for doing the left is the longer one. I keep trying to keep them straight if you're watching why I keep moving things around. All right, so I'm going to bring my base back in here. So we're going to start with the long one, and as you can see, I have the tear and tape on both sides. This is where you would add your glue to each of these sides here, okay? And we're starting, like I said, with the middle. And the reason why we drew the lines, we're using the lines to line up our wall. So I'm going to put this right over top of the line as best as I can. There we go. And then push those pieces down on each side. All right, so I have my middle wall here. All right, now I'm going to do this wall. Now, before you remove the tape here or add the glue, you want to put it in here and make sure it fits, and it fits. Because it may be a little imperfect, and so you want to be able to adjust, but it fit nicely where I put it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the tape, or what you'll do is put the glue in, and I'm going to line my wall up with that line that I drew. Okay, give that a good push. There's wall number 2. Third wall, again, I'm going to check it. Now see how it's a little tight on this side because I probably have my wall a little further over. This is easy to fix. I'm just going to take my scissors here and trim a little bit, just a little bit, because you can take more, but you can't put back, right? Okay, now there it fits. So see how it fits in there now? So now I will either add my glue or, in my case, just remove the paper here for my tape. Here we go. Whoops. Pieces everywhere. And line that last piece up for my box. There we go. So we're not done yet. So you see I've got my letters here. I can still see all of that, right? That's okay. So what we do now is I've cut those same dimensions, actually almost same dimensions. So instead of 2 3/4 and 2 1/2, I took just 1/8 of an inch off. Now, if you want to cut them the same and then trim as you go, that's fine. But I just took 1/8 of an inch off so I knew that they fit. Okay, so I've got A, B, C, and D. Okay, and they're just a piece of paper in here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put some, and this is, you can, again, glue or sticky strip. I'm doing sticky. I'm just going to put a couple of pieces on the back of each of these. All right, here. I should zoom back in. I'm not using the cutter anymore. I should zoom back in so you can see this. Okay. There we go. And B. All right, I have the tape on the back. So what I'm gonna do here is, so I'm gonna take my A and remove my paper. It's not sticking. There we go. There we go. And I'm gonna lay it in the bottom here. And what I'm doing is I'm hiding then the tabs. So you can, the tabs here, and then any of my markings that I have left. Now you can see I probably had this shifted further over than I probably wanted, so it is a little bigger. So that's your decision if you want to use the actual measurements, and then if it's smaller, trim it to fit, or if you want to trim it up front. I don't think you really notice the edges once I put it in there. It just kind of hides it all and makes it all look really clean. So it's really up to you. It's a personal preference. All right, I'm going to put my D in. I'm going to go the other, oops, stuck to my finger. I'm going to go the other way here. There we go. This one's B. I'll leave all these letters and everything in place until I'm ready to put them in so I don't mix them up. There we go. And then last but not least, C. Maybe. There we go. These papers just stick to you. Put in that last piece. All right. All right. There we go. So now we have the clean box. There's one last thing that I find is nice to do. And you can see how it's bowing. The box is bowing from the edge here. And what I did is, in this case, I'm only using glue, and I'm pulling out I'm using fabric glue. It holds really, really well and quickly. So I like that it holds really well. You can use the multi-purpose glue. You can use whatever your preference is. Get this going here. Been using a lot of it for all my crafting this holiday season, so getting a little low. Gonna have to add, oh, there we go. So all I'm doing here, and let's see if you can see, is just a little dot. Not a lot, just a little bit of dot. And then I'm gonna hold that in there for a moment. And then when that dries, it'll hold the edge. But see, I'm not a patient person, so this is why I tend to use the tear and tape wherever possible, because I like it to be done and I want to move on. But you'll do this, and I'm not going to make you watch me do all the corners here, but you'll do this with all the edges and kind of hold them until they stick. And it gives you a little more of a finished product. So you can see here how they're stuck. Okay, and they hold them together. You can do it on the inside too if you so wish. I didn't, but this one's, they're stuck. And then I just filled it with my goodies, and it's ready to go. Now, the one thing you did see is I also did a lid, and this is a window sheet, but I cut it exactly like I did the base. So same dimensions as the base, and so that was the 7 by 8.5. But instead of scoring at 1 inch on all sides, I did it just a hair under 1 inch, because you noticed this box, how it bowed. This was my first one that I did, and I scored it at 1 inch. The lid is 1 inch too. And so when I put the lid on it, it bowed the edges. So what I did is I actually scored in just a little less than 1 inch. And then I used my fabric glue here to you did the same with the tabs and glued it together. I added some fun ribbon with some fabric glue, and then you have a cute little lid that slides over top of your box. If you can, again, this is where giving yourself a little extra is a good thing. So it slides on. There we go. Slides on there. Got the lighting there, sorry. And you have a cute gift ready to go. You can put bow on here. You can decorate the lid however you want, but you're going to build the lid just like you did the base when we did the edges. So it's the same cuts with the tabs and everything. Okay. And that's your lid. Well, I hope you enjoyed this cute craft tag box. If you want, you could even add stamps to the labels ahead of time. I left them open so she could write whatever she wanted on them, but you can do like the 2 froms on there or whatever you want. So I hope you enjoyed, and I think that's it. So have a happy holidays until next time.